we got our featured story. And again, shout out to YTC, shout out to Unonix, shout out to Peter, my patrons. I really greatly appreciate your support. And you guys made for a very engaging, fun course to cover, which you guys could check out if you become a Patreon. But Coindesk up for sale. Investors circle crypto news publication amidst Genesis bankruptcy. So Genesis is part of Digital Currency Group, which also owns Coindesk and Grayscale. And there are rumors that Coindesk is for sale. And if you're in crypto, there's no way you haven't heard of Coindesk. Coindesk is one of, if not the biggest cryptocurrency news sources, and things like that. I mean, they are big. And they haven't really covered Hex much, probably because they're part of the system and they're gatekeeping. Unless they've been the only time they really cover it is negatively, to say the least. But it is a big news site, and they're up for sale now. And the big question, and I've heard people talk about this, was whether or not Richard Hart should buy Coindesk. So let's read this article, and then we could discuss whether it would be beneficial or not for Richard Hart to join Coindesk. Then obviously we are going to see what you guys have to say. I really enjoy reading your chats. So I would want to hear your opinion on this, because I have mine, but I could use a second opinion, to say the least. So feel free to enter what you want in the chat, and if you're feeling up to it, you could even leave a super chat. But moving on, according to various reports, investors are reportedly interested in purchasing Coindesk, a cryptocurrency news publication. On January 18th, Wang Feng, founder of China-based news publication Marsbit, announced his intention to purchase Coindesk, along with other members of the crypto industry. This news follows a report from Semaphore at the end of November 2022, stating that Coindesk had received takeover solicitations from several investors. Coindesk's alleged asking price was $200 million or more, as Charles Hoskinson and Marsbit express interest in purchase. So it's not just this Chinese news publication, but it is also Charles Hoskinson. Investors are reportedly considering purchasing the cryptocurrency news publication Coindesk after a subsidiary of Digital Currency Group, Genesis Global Capital, filed for bankruptcy protection. Coindesk is an independently operated news and conference business that is wholly owned by DCG. According to Charles Hoskinson, co-founder of Ethereum and founder of Cardano. Boo. Oh, I forgot, guys. Cardano went down last night. Been around for so long, they can't even keep it up. It's a little bit pathetic, honestly. Cardano's pathetic. Great price performance, poor tech. There is a lesson there, though. There is a lesson there. And founder of Cardano, sources familiar with the matter have indicated that the asking price for the news outlet Coindesk is around $200 million. Hoskinson expressed interest in purchasing Coindesk, as stated in a YouTube video titled "Buying Coindesk." Hoskinson, $200 million, quote, is less than the estimate given to Semaphore at the end of November 2022, when sources informed the news publications that investors were interested in buying Coindesk. At that time, Semaphore, Bradley, Sachs, and Liz Hoffman reported that there was a suggested $300 million purchase price. The report added that people familiar with the matter stated that the $300 million estimate was considered too low. Blah, 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 blah. Coindesk, so Wang announced on January 18, 2023, that Marsbit is willing to organize a number of well-known funds to jointly acquire and integrate Coindesk, according to founder Sweet. He's also stated that the Consensus Conference business would be included in the acquisition. Coindesk was originally founded in 2013 by entrepreneur Shakil Khan, who is also the co-founder of Premier Materia, an early investor in BitPay. Coindesk was acquired by Digital Currency Group in January 2016 for an estimated amount of $500,000 to $600,000. So Coindesk underperformed Bitcoin, I guess. What is that? That's 4x. 4x. How much is? No, I'm sorry. 300 million. What am I saying? No, that's a 300. That's like 150x, right? 500,000 times 150. Is that 300 million? That's incredible. It's gotten some crypto numbers, Coindesk. For an estimated amount of 500,000, 600,000, according to a report by TechCrunch, Lucas Matney. Coindesk published an article about the acquisition, noting that they were excited to join Digital Currency Group, and mentioned that Digital Currency Group had been one of Coindesk's early investors and supporters. It's either 200,000 or 300,000. Charles Hoskinson expressed interest in buying it. And obviously Wang Fang. Should Richard Hart buy Coindesk? That is really the question that everybody is wondering. And the answer is, I think if he can afford it, if it's something that's doable, that would be a very, very good thing to own. Owning one of the biggest cryptocurrency news agencies, and having it cover your project favorably would be excellent. In terms of adoption, it's going to be hard to ignore Hex if Coindesk is covering it with the frequency that they cover, Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano and things like that. So it would be an amazing thing for Richard Hart to buy Coindesk. The thing is I don't know Richard Hart's finances. So I don't know if it's something that he could do. Obviously, he's likely a billionaire because he got over $1 billion from the sacrifice. But does he have 300 million liquid in cash? Probably not. Or maybe. How quickly could he get it? Would he even want to? Could we expect him to just give away 300 million? Because even to him, that's a lot of money. So I don't know if he can or cannot. Something also to consider would be maybe, pooling with other investors, like-minded people, maybe some people that got very wealthy in Hex, and maybe some people from other communities that, share common interests, like Charles Hoskinson. I know Havid was working on getting Charles Hoskinson and Richard Hart to come together. So that would be something to think about. That would be cool if, they could pool it and do it together, but I don't think Charles Hoskinson is interested in working with Richard Hart. And I don't know if Coindesk or Digital Currency Group would allow that sale to happen, just because they probably don't like or don't have a favorable view of Richard Hart and Hex. So I don't know if it's doable. I don't know if Richard Hart could do it if he tried, meaning it might be prevented by Digital Currency Group. They might not allow it to happen. I don't know if he could afford it. I don't know if even if he could afford it, he'd want to do it, because at the end of the day, it is his money and it's up to him. And maybe he thinks that, they don't need Coindesk, but I think that would be amazing. That would be the dream if Richard Hart, buys Coindesk. It's game over in terms of the gatekeeping. So that certainly would end the gatekeeping. That certainly would be huge. I know billionaires and very wealthy people very, very often buy news agencies because they want to win over the hearts and minds of people. And obviously there's Bloomberg, and there's many others. I can't name you the particulars, but they either buy the media company or they, give them a lot of money so they cover them favorably. I think you had that with, in many instances, which you could look up. And I think it would be a very good thing. Do I think it's going to happen? It's probably not going to happen. That's a good question also. So he did express interest in buying a on-ramp, a fiat on-ramp. And I don't think he could buy both. He would be able to buy one or the other. What would be better to have Hex as a fiat on-ramp, something similar to Coinbase that offers Hex that you could just easily, connect your bank account and your debit card and buy Hex? Or would it be better to own a news agency? I would say a news agency, because news agencies can lean on, especially something like the power of Coinbase. You could lean on these exchanges and put pressure on them to list Hex. And that's really what news agencies do all the time. Very frequently, people don't realize the power is really with the news. It is not with these regular corporations like banks and companies, just like these big companies like Coca-Cola or Amazon. The real power is in the news. That is where the narrative is. That is where you can, galvanize the public to go along with your agenda. And that's a good example I just thought about of a billionaire owning uh, acquiring a news agency is Jeff Bezos and Amazon. And I don't think he did that because, he's just interested in owning a news agency. I think Jeff Bezos actually bought Amazon because obviously, um, you know, he can form public opinion to push his interests, to shape the world in his image. That's just what philanthropists do. And right now, there is no better purchase that Richard Hart can make than Coindesk. So shout out to YTC. I appreciate you being a patron, appreciate your support, and I hope that really covers what you were talking about. I think it would be a very good thing, and I think that was a great topic that you brought up. So really appreciate you. Yeah, I think that would be definitely better than a museum or a fiat on and off ramp. I think a news agency, the biggest news agency in crypto, Coindesk, would definitely be the biggest purchase he could do. So that might be the best thing he could do to make Hex go viral. But the best thing we could do to make Hex go viral is obviously TikTok and YouTube Shorts. And shout out to our TikTokers and YouTube Shorters. Again, I'm linking the Telegram. We have 203. We need more. We need more people in the chat. Even if you're not a TikToker, you can still support the TikTokers by liking their posts and following them and things like that. So go get in that chat, go become a Patreon, and go to Furu Finance, furufinance.com, and book a free consultation today. Free, guys, free consultation at furufinance.com. But yeah, moving on. We got the super chat. I mean, the chat, I should